As far back as 1996, the General Electric company was bidding for the construction of a gas turbine power plant in Santa Cruz, Bolivia, and approached Jumbo Shipping to make a proposal for the transportation of all major components. With the location of the power plant approximately 1200 kilometers from the nearest seaport, the type of gas turbine plant as proposed by GE changed several times, as the transport limitations could in the best case only allow a maximum load of approximately 140 tons. Based on its original quotation, General Electric approached Jumbo in the beginning of 1998 to make an in-depth study of the best and most economic transport route and method. The city of Santa Cruz, with approximately 700,000 inhabitants, is located at about 1200 kilometers at the east side of the Andes Mountains from the Chilean port of Arica. Although the option of using an Antonov 124 cargo plane was investigated, this solution was rejected due to its extreme cost and maximum carrying capacity of 140 tons per flight. According to Jumbo and its selected transport contractor Javier Cortés in Chile, the best solution would be the road from Arica across the Andes to Santa Cruz. The route via Buenos Aires, the Paraná and Paraguay River to Puerto Suárez, and then overland over a distance of approximately 600 kilometers was not feasible due to an unsuitable transport road and limiting bridges, and it would be more costly than the proposed route via Arica. General Electric was awarded the contract by EXA to supply two Frame 6F gas turbine units mid-1998. And contracted Jumbo to execute the ocean carriage and land transport, including installation onto foundation of the heaviest components, being the 137-ton generators, 38-ton accessory modules, 88-ton gas turbines and 68-ton transformers. A total cargo volume of approximately 1,000 freight tons of 9 heavy lifts and 5,000 freight tons of general cargo was carried from the USA, Europe and Taiwan via the port of Arica in 5 shipments, all the way across the Andes in a period from November 1998 until April 1999. Just 2 weeks before the first transport started, the Bolivian authorities informed us that they did not allow us to cross some of the bridges without reinforcing them. Immediate action was required, and we decided to construct a set of steel supports of various lengths which could be positioned underneath the bridges. This video impression shows some of the difficulties that were encountered during the first 4 shipments. The first shipment arrived in the port of Arica in Chile on the 11th of November, carrying the heaviest component of the power station, the 137 tons generator. To spread this concentrated load on the 67 bridges en route, Jumbo used a 12 axle-line Cometo platform trailer of the Chilean transport contractor Javier Cortés. The gas turbine was loaded on an 8 axle-line gooseneck trailer and transported away from the ship to await custom clearance. To carry out the transport of all remaining crates and boxes as efficiently as possible, each trailer was loaded up to its maximum capacity. The hydraulic suspension was adjusted to the correct height and we were all ready to start on our long journey to Santa Cruz when on the last moment the police escorts didn't show up due to New Year festivals on the beach. Around 4 o'clock that afternoon, Jumbo's supervisor convinced the local police and finally we passed through the Arica port gate and were on our way to Santa Cruz. The accessory modules of 38 tons were transported on 4 axle-line low loaders driving in convoy, while the other cargo was loaded on flatbed trailers and low loaders. The gas turbine went ahead of the generator transport combination as there were less bridges to be reinforced due to its lesser weight. That same day, 13 flatbed trailers with general cargo left the port as well for their 1200 kilometers long journey to Santa Cruz. The drivers drove very slowly, as they were afraid of overheating the engines at these altitudes. Early in the morning, we passed the three volcanoes which mark the Chilean-Bolivian border. At 1:30 in the afternoon, we passed customs, and although there was a lot of traffic, the police maneuvered us through the lane of trucks. While the gas turbine had already reached Bolivia, the second transport crew with a generator was on its way to the first bridges, which required reinforcement. These pipe supports installed under bridges in the Chilean part of the route remained in place, while the other bridges were reinforced with temporary supports and shifted to the next bridges after the transport had passed. After approximately 40 kilometers from Arica, driving across relatively flat countryside, the first hairpin curves were negotiated, and the second heavy-duty tractor unit was connected to the first one, to develop the required pulling force needed to climb these mountains with slope gradients of up to 10%. With the hydraulic suspension system of the trailer, the transfer camber of the road was compensated and kept the trailer more or less leveled when negotiating these sharp hairpin curves. A few kilometers before Putre, civil works are in progress. A few months ago, the road was washed away, and the authorities are constructing a new road. Temporarily, all traffic has to cross a bypass which is only 4.5 meters wide, just enough for the hydraulic platform trailer. The road to the border town of Tambocamado crossed a peculiar site, which was subject to a strong magnetic field, which here is demonstrated, with the Hyundai van being pulled upward the slope.
Open the car, Carlos! Incredible, eh? So it's going backwards uphill. Okay, the hill is not very steep, but still.
As some of the bridges were not strong enough or could not be reinforced, we had to construct several bypasses. A civil contractor was on standby at the critical parts of the route in order to upgrade the bypasses in case of rain damage. After crossing the border at Tambocamado, the route leads across mountain, ravines and plains at altitudes of 4,350 meters above sea level. Our only company were some prairie dogs, llamas and flamingos. On these plains we made good progress and in some days covered 150 kilometers or more. As we had to reinforce 21 bridges, we prepared supports for only 3, which could easily be loaded on 1 or 2 dump trucks and transported along the route simultaneously with the transport. Approximately 50 kilometers before the city of Cochabamba, the transport route crosses a deep ravine via a large concrete bridge near the town of Lavini. This bridge, consisting of 2 spans of 24 meters and a center span of 86 meters, was not strong enough to hold these extreme weights, and therefore a 450-meter long bypass road was constructed. Our local Bolivian civil contractor Olmedo did a hell of a job by preparing all bypasses in time, so that hardly any time was lost in passing weak bridges or bad roads. In Cochabamba, quite a few bypasses were required around pedestrian bridges across the road, which were not high enough to clear the gas turbine. Again, Olmedo did a good job, and without significant delays we passed Cochabamba and were on our way to the last part of our journey, the Siberian route. This part of the route is in very bad shape and is frequently washed away by heavy rains which start around the middle of December until April next year. The road surface is just leveled gravel, and as long as it doesn't rain, it can be negotiated without too many problems. The first gas turbine had passed this part of the route around mid-January, but when the second one arrived mid-February, heavy rains had damaged the road significantly, and we had to upgrade her to make it suitable for the transport combination to pass. At a job site, the Cortes installation crew is busy in rigging their hydraulic jacking gantry. On Friday, the 22nd of January, at 1 o'clock early morning, we arrived at the job site in Santa Cruz and during daylight maneuvered the trailer combination under the lifting gantry. On the 3rd of February, another heavy lift carrier arrives in the port of Arica with 2 transformers of 68 tons each from Taiwan. One of the trafos stayed in Arica, while the other one was transported to a location in Bolivia where we skidded the trafo sideways onto another trailer for the remaining journey to Santa Cruz. Placing the reinforcements under the bridges was a challenging task. With the help of an excavator, steel plates were positioned under the bridge in the river, and steel pipe supports placed on top of it and wedged in under the bridge girders so that we could safely pass the bridge the next morning. That same night, heavy rains poured down and damaged part of the transport road, so that excavators and shovels were called in to clear the road. The river had changed into a wild stream and had washed away all our supports. With a little bit of luck, we managed to locate most of the supports. Some were found 3 kilometers downstream, and we started building up the bridge reinforcements again. Due to heavy rains, we had to rebuild quite a few of the bypasses, but in spite of these delays, we managed to keep the transport on the road. Again, heavy rainfall delayed the transport. Part of the road was completely washed away, resulting in a long row of waiting trucks and trailers. Fortunately, we just passed this area with a generator and gas turbine, but the transformers were held up until the road was repaired. Jumbo, in cooperation with its local contractors, managed to deliver all 9 heavy items, as well as approximately 5,000 freight tons of general cargo from the USA, Taiwan and Europe to the job site in Santa Cruz, approximately 1,200 kilometers east from Arica across the Andes Mountains.